Hello everybody. Welcome back to Aloha Creations. And this is Aloha, and it's good to see you guys again. I have here for you a fairy themed junk journal, and I'm pretty happy with this, guys. I've chosen the Rose Fairy in particular for the covers, and you could see all of the other extra things that I've made for this junk journal. And I wanted to start out with some of the things that I've created for this. So in the meantime, I'm going to push the junk journal aside, and I'm going to start off with I believe I'm starting off with the envelopes and the little hanging frame that I've made. So this was the inspiration of finally starting my fairy themed junk journal that I've been for the longest time wanting to make. You can hang this frame, and it's made out of paper and cardboard, and there are metal corners, and that's the wallpaper, vintage wallpaper on the back. This envelope here that I've made actually turned out very nicely. I'm sorry about it's not focusing for some reason. I've never had this problem before. Anyhow, wasn't that a cute baby fairy? And I was supposed to be showing you, since it's quite blurry, the edges. They're not quite straight. I didn't cut them straight. I kind of edged the scissors, and it was really cool. And I've sewn in the butterfly in the middle, so it's not glued flat down on the paper. And those are my fussy cutouts and little extras for you guys to embellish the journal. And a couple of fairies. Those images are from a book that I found. It's Anne Geddes. She's a photographer, and she puts these kids in like fairy costumes, and they're really, really cute. Anyway, I love that envelope. This one here was that little extra from that paper. See, I showed you guys. It's actually one big huge page, and that was the strip left over. I didn't know what to do with it, but for some reason this is what I ended up doing with it. I thought I was going to make another envelope, but I decided not to close it. Instead, I've seen this idea I saw from Jibid Neary. I guess I'll link her info below, and you could check her stuff out. But that's where I saw that. She just sewed lines, and then it looks like lines on a page. Guys, this is it. This is the extra that I made to match with the junk journal. It's a field note, and I made that charm. It's got a heart and a key. And I made the cover from my vintage wallpaper that I thrifted, and the wallpaper is from the 1960s. That's a cute little pen charm. That image is from a book, and it happened to match with the junk journal. So here's the page. I believe I perfected this. I tell you, I'm very proud of this little book. I love how it turned out. And then this little snippet here was from Timeless Junk Journals. She gave me a bunch of these journaling cards, and that's where I got the idea to back some of the cutouts that I have with tea-dyed paper and then sew around it. So I've done a few of those. I made a few of those throughout the journal. And so those are tea-dyed papers, or coffee-dyed papers, I believe. I received those from Kathy Rivera from a Happy Mail. Oh, this is so cute. I made this tag. I love how this one turned out. and then I stamped number on there, and I just fussy cut out that butterfly, and it's a see-through window. It's very cute. I love it. And what would you call that? A specimen slide? I don't know. And then I made this tag. It's inspired from Brittamarterer, and she's on IG. I'll link her information also below. And that turned out really cute also, that tag. So this is just a little notebook. You could just doodle here and write little sweet nothings on there. And I fussy cut out that little boy fairy. And that tag came from Kathy from a Happy Mail. I just stamped on there. And then I sewed around it, added a ribbon, and there you go. Love that little book. Love it. It's so cute. And then here we are. Finally, the fairy journal that I've been wanting to make for the longest time, since May of last year. I was just really inspired by the other ladies that I've seen on IG with their versions of fairy junk journals. I found that charm, that clear, see-through charm of like a flower skeleton. I don't know what to call it really, but it's pretty neat. I really love that charm. And then I just added that fairy charm dangling, and it's just very simple. And that sari ribbon, added a little vintage key. That's the painting that I made or did, and I posted a little bit of this on my IG. I used a stencil, but I'm loving it because I haven't done painting in a while. But anyway, moving on. Let's see what's the inside of this. Sorry guys, I had to do this filming like different times during this day today, so the lighting's pretty off. Anyway, there's the again the library loan card that I found. Again, this was thrifted. And I just added that fairy cutout and just to add a little decoration. This is from a fairy book. Made an envelope out of it, and I just added little journaling cards inside. And I love it. I liked how it turned out. That little twist flower is pretty cool. Never done that before. And that's a fairy postcard. That's all thrifted. I found a whole booklet of fairy postcards, 30 of them, and it was ridiculous. It was so beautiful. It was vintage. That's a fairy, like a month birthday book, and the images were all very similar to the postcards, so I just picked out the matching and included it with a postcard. And I've added along some of the fairy pages from a book. Here's a vintage page from a fairy tale book, and these are all tea-dyed paper. This is pretty neat. I've never done this, so I just added or woven a lace ribbon on the edge. Turned out really cool. Again, the postcard and the matching book page, and the little that doily. Love it. Oh, I love this one. See how I added a book page and backed it with a tea-dyed paper. Or no, not a tea-dyed paper, just a page. And then I sewed around it and added that ribbon, and with a butterfly button. This is a tag. I just that's vintage flashcards, and it's a spring theme, so the words are very appropriate for this journal. And then that's the back, of course, roses. And that's a vintage card. An orchid page from an old book. 60s, I believe, 1960s. Again, with a woven ribbons. Love how that turned out. I really think it's pretty cool. So throughout the journal, didn't really embellish much. I have a lot of the tea-dyed papers. Oh, that's the Bambi page. It's a vintage book from 1960s. That's a Dutch page book from a happy mail I received. And again, more of those fussy cutouts. It's a lace ribbon. So a lot of empty tea-dyed pages. I really did that on purpose for you to journal, just add more things for you guys. Here's an interesting bit. I have a butterfly book, and that's a little legend story. So I cut it out and then just again backed it with a tea-dyed paper and sewed around it. Vintage fairy tale book, and the music pages that I picked out, which again they are all vintage, I picked out the appropriate titles for this book. Love the little quotes on those fairy books. I made a little tiny booklet that I just bound in the center of this signature. So that was interesting. Love all the images of those fairies. I love how it feels as well, those laces that I woven through. Oh yes, this page. Another vintage wallpaper, and the papyrus paper, that bird that I cut out from the Sussex. That turned out really nice. Look at all those nice empty pages. And that's another page from a book. Reminds me of Edith Holden. Plenty of journaling for you guys here, and that was really my intent. I myself love to journal, and I just wanted to incorporate that here. You guys are going to be getting a lot of the fairy postcards, and oh guys, this one this was inspired from Nik the Booksmith, and I believe she calls it Raggedy, and where you just put pieces of paper together and just sew them together. So I ended up just grabbing things and putting them together, and I don't know, this is what I came up with. That leaf there was from Timeless Junk Journals, and that was the inspiration of that Raggedy. And I love how it turned out. I really love it. So a lot more rose pages. I have a collection of rose books, everything about roses, and so the images, I really love it. So I took a couple of pages out and put them in here. That I made into a pocket, and those little notepad papers, those floral ones, those are new. I bought them at the store. It's like a Japanese shop. That's an envelope. I love the quote, and it says, "Time makes roses." And then it says, what does it say? Make or devote the time. And I put a famous painting of Napoleon and his beloved Josephine. she's famous for her roses, as she loves roses. So I just decorated the envelope. I made that envelope from an Ann Geddes book page. Just put some butterflies and decoupage that, flowers and napkins, and that's how I managed to do a collage. So another fairy book page, added those laces. It's pretty nice. I love how they turn out, but I'm always so scared of my sewing. I just feel like I'm gonna mess up. So I'm very careful at, sewing. Those are the Bambi vintage book that I found. That's the Janet Marsh's Nature Diary page. More of the rose page book that I have. I tried to incorporate a lot of the fairy pages that I have in this junk journal, but again, I love to journal, so that's why there's a lot of the empty pages. I didn't decorate much, and I think it just it's enough. So I really find that I'm loving this book so much. That's another page from the Ann Geddes book, and I made this butterfly collage, and it's got that plastic cover. Yeah, it's pretty cute. It's pretty cool. I really like it. And another fairy page book. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think this book is very simple, not too elaborate, or not very well. I think it's very simple. I don't know, but here we are, coming to an end. I made a little pocket, and that's a cute postcard, and I just added a fussy cutout of a little girl fairy. And then there it is. So the back, you saw again that painting that I did. I'm so glad this is finished, and I hope you guys like it. If any of you are interested in purchasing this junk journal, this fairy junk journal, please DM me on my IG account, which I will link down below. I'm so glad you guys are watching my videos, and I'm thankful as always. I will see you guys again on my next project or my next thrift haul. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Enjoy. Bye for now, guys.